Anticipated 50% market penetration in aviation tourism and defense by 2028, competitive dynamics and future predictions. Executive Summary. As we look towards 2028, the aviation tourism and defense sectors are poised for a remarkable transformation with a projected 50% market penetration driven by evolving consumer demands, technological advancements, and substantial infrastructural investments. This report synthesizes insights from various industry sources outlining the expected growth trajectories, competitive dynamics, and key trends shaping these markets. 1. Aviation Market Overview. 1.1 Growth Projections. The aviation market is anticipated to grow from $343.54 billion in 2025 to $395.76 billion by 2030, reflecting a compound annual growth rate CAGR of 2.87%. This growth is largely attributed to the resurgence of air travel following the COVID-19 pandemic, with a notable increase in passenger traffic globally. 1.2 Market Segmentation. The aviation industry encompasses three primary segments. Commercial aviation, this segment includes passenger aircraft and cargo freighters. Military aviation, comprising combat and non-combat aircraft. This sector is driven by geopolitical tensions and increased defense spending. General aviation, this includes helicopters and business jets, which have gained traction for medical cargo and VIP transport. 1.3 Regional Insights. The Asia-Pacific region is expected to lead market growth due to rising disposable incomes, increased air travel demand, and ongoing infrastructural developments. Countries like India and China are particularly influential, with significant investments in new airports and enhancements to existing facilities. 1.4 Key Players. Major companies dominating the aviation market include Boeing, Airbus, and Lockheed Martin, all of which are ramping up production rates post-pandemic to meet the recovering demand. 2. Tourism Market Insights. 2.1 Growth Forecast. The global travel market is projected to grow by $5.50 trillion from 2024 to 2028, with a staggering CAGR of 18.52%. This growth is fueled by the increasing popularity of experiential travel, a surge in international tourist arrivals, and the digital transformation of travel planning and booking processes. 2.2 Market Dynamics. The tourism sector is witnessing a shift towards experiential travel. Travelers increasingly seek unique and immersive experiences. Digital platforms, AI technologies are revolutionizing how consumers plan and book travel, enhancing personalization and convenience. 2.3 Challenges. Despite this growth, the tourism industry faces challenges including security concerns. Global terrorism remains a significant threat impacting traveler confidence. Economic factors. Fluctuations in global economies can affect travel budgets. 2.4 Key Players. Prominent companies driving the tourism market include Expedia, Marriott, and Booking Holdings, which are leveraging technology to enhance customer engagement and streamline services. 3. Competitive Dynamics. 3.1 Aviation Sector Competition. In the aviation sector, competition is fierce, with Boeing and Airbus leading in commercial aviation, while Lockheed Martin specializes in military aviation solutions. This competitive landscape is characterized by innovation. Ongoing technological advancements in aircraft design are pivotal to maintaining market share. Strategic partnerships. Collaborations among industry players to develop next-generation aircraft are becoming increasingly common. 3.2 Tourism Sector Competition. In tourism, companies are competing through technological integration. The use of AI and digital platforms to enhance customer experiences is vital. Service diversification. Offering personalized travel packages and experiences is crucial in attracting customers. 4. Common Key Points. 4.1 Market Growth. Both the aviation and tourism sectors are on trajectories of substantial growth, recovering from pandemic-induced setbacks and expanding significantly. 4.2 Technological integration. The integration of AI and digital platforms is reshaping customer interactions and operational efficiencies across both markets. 4.3 Regional dominance. The Asia-Pacific region stands out as a key driver for growth in both sectors, fueled by rising disposable incomes and increasing travel demand. 5. Timeline of events. 2020 to 2021, COVID-19 severely impacted both sectors, leading to reduced passenger traffic and travel restrictions. 2022, a marked recovery in aviation was noted with an increase in international passenger traffic. 2023, reports indicate a resurgence in travel bookings driven by improved connectivity and the emergence of mobile travel applications. 2024 to 2028, continued projections for growth in both sectors emphasize the importance of technological advancements and infrastructure development. 6. Conclusion. In summary, the aviation, tourism, and defense markets are positioned for significant growth by 2028, driven by technological innovations and changing consumer preferences. The interplay between market recovery and emerging trends will be crucial in influencing competitive dynamics and shaping the future landscape of these industries. The Asia-Pacific region will play a pivotal role in this expansion, underscoring the need for strategic investments and innovations to capitalize on the evolving market. The anticipated 50% market penetration in aviation, tourism, and defense by 2028 hinges on several counterintuitive insights that challenge traditional expectations in these sectors. 1. Growth despite adversity. While it is often assumed that economic downturns or crises like the COVID-19 pandemic significantly stifle market growth, the aviation and tourism sectors are projected to rebound vigorously. The aviation market, for instance, is expected to grow from $343.54 billion in 2025 to $395.76 billion by 2030, despite the severe impacts of the pandemic. This growth suggests a resilience that contradicts the expectation of long-term stagnation following crises. The tourism sector's expected growth of $5.50 trillion from 2024 to 2028, led by an 18.52% CAGR, indicates that consumer demand for travel and experiences can rebound quickly after significant disruptions. 2. Technological challenges as growth drivers. Typically, technological advancements are seen as purely beneficial, streamlining operations and enhancing customer experiences. However, they also pose challenges that could impede growth. For example, the rise of AI and digital platforms in travel is reshaping market dynamics, yet these innovations require substantial investment and adaptation from traditional businesses. The expectation that all players can easily integrate these technologies overlooks the potential for disruption among those unable to keep pace, creating a competitive environment where only the most agile and technologically adept survive. 3. Emerging economies as growth leaders. The assumption that developed markets will lead growth in aviation and tourism is being challenged by the rise of emerging economies. Asia-Pacific is highlighted as a key growth driver, particularly with countries like India and China showing significant demand for air travel. This counters the conventional wisdom that established markets such as North America and Europe would continue to dominate due to their mature infrastructures. The rapid growth of the middle class in these regions and their increasing disposable income is driving a surge in travel demand that outstrips that of traditional markets. 4. Security concerns driving innovation, not retrenchment. While security threats from global terrorism are expected to impede growth in tourism, they also drive innovation in safety protocols and technologies that can enhance traveler confidence. The assumption that such threats will lead to a decline in travel is countered by the reality that heightened security measures can paradoxically create a safer travel environment that encourages more people to travel. This dynamic illustrates a complex relationship between perceived risks and actual behavior. where improvements in safety can lead to increased market activity. 5. The role of online platforms and consumer expectations. The growth of online travel agencies and platforms is often viewed as a straightforward benefit to consumers, enhancing accessibility and convenience. However, this shift also raises consumer expectations for personalization and immediacy that traditional providers may struggle to meet. The assumption that simply providing a digital platform will suffice overlooks the need for ongoing innovation and customer engagement strategies that are necessary to retain market share. The digital transformation, while beneficial, can create a rapidly evolving landscape where businesses that fail to adapt may lose relevance. 6. Luxury and experiential travel trends. A counterintuitive trend is the growing demand for luxury and experiential travel amidst broader economic uncertainties. While one might expect that economic challenges would lead to a decrease in luxury spending, the data shows an increasing appetite for personalized and unique travel experiences, particularly among affluent consumers. This suggests a divergence in market behavior where, rather than consolidating around budget options, consumers are willing to invest in experiences that provide significant personal value, thus driving growth in niche markets. 7. Resilience of the defense sector amidst economic pressures. In defense, the expectation is often that budget constraints will lead to reduced spending. However, the increasing geopolitical tensions have resulted in rising military expenditures in many countries, particularly in the Asia-Pacific region. This contradicts the assumption that economic pressures would uniformly lead to cuts in defense spending. Instead, nations are prioritizing military capabilities, which is driving growth in the defense sector, contrary to traditional economic theories that suggest reduced budgets in times of financial strain. Conclusion. The anticipated 50% market penetration in aviation tourism and defense by 2028 is not merely a function of recovery from past crises or linear growth trajectories. It is characterized by complex counterintuitive dynamics that challenge conventional wisdom. Resilience in the face of adversity, the unexpected role of emerging markets, the dual nature of technological advancements, and the evolving expectations of consumers all contribute to a landscape where traditional assumptions about growth and market behavior are called into question. Understanding these nuances will be crucial for stakeholders aiming to navigate the competitive dynamics of these industries effectively. The anticipated 50% market penetration in aviation tourism and defense by 2028 is a critical development that warrants careful examination. The report outlines not only the growth potential of these sectors but also underlying dynamics that could be easily overlooked. Here, we will identify and elucidate some significant yet potentially neglected aspects of the report and explain their significance. 1. Technological integration and AI impact on consumer behavior. One crucial point that may not garner sufficient attention is the transformative role of technology, particularly artificial intelligence (AI), in reshaping customer experience across both the aviation and tourism sectors. The report highlights that AI is driving market transformation and enhancing operational efficiencies. Significance: the ability of companies to leverage AI for personalized travel experiences is critical in a highly competitive market. This technology allows businesses to analyze customer data effectively to tailor services, enhancing customer satisfaction and loyalty. Companies that fail to adopt these technological advancements may find themselves at a competitive disadvantage as consumers increasingly demand customized experiences. 2. Emerging market dynamics in Asia-Pacific. While the report emphasizes the growth of the Asia-Pacific region as a major driver of market expansion, the nuances of this growth may be overlooked. The rising middle class, increased disposable income, and demand for air travel, particularly in countries like India and China, are pivotal. However, the socio-political landscape and regulatory challenges in these regions also play an essential role. Significance: Understanding the complexities of the Asia-Pacific market, such as local regulations, infrastructural challenges, and political stability, can help stakeholders navigate potential risks and capitalize on opportunities. Companies that invest in understanding local markets and adapt their strategies accordingly are likely to succeed in effectively penetrating these burgeoning markets. 3. Security concerns and their economic impact. The report mentions the rising threat of global terrorism as a challenge to the tourism market. However, the economic ramifications of security measures, such as increased costs for travel insurance and border security, may not be fully appreciated. Significance: security concerns affect consumer behavior and willingness to travel, which directly impacts revenue in the tourism sector. Businesses must not only invest in security measures but also develop strategies to reassure customers, thereby maintaining trust and encouraging travel. Ignoring this aspect could lead to missed opportunities for growth and customer engagement. 4. Diverse consumer preferences and experiential travel. The growing trend toward experiential travel driven by consumer preferences for unique and tailored experiences is another focal point. The report cites an expected growth in experiential travel but may not delve deeply into the implications of this shift. Significance: companies that adapt their offerings to meet this demand, such as curating unique travel packages or personalized experiences, will likely outperform those that rely on traditional models. The significance lies in the understanding that today's traveler values experiences over material possessions, and accommodating this shift can drive brand loyalty and market share. 5. Investment in infrastructure and its long-term effects. The report indicates that significant investments in infrastructure are critical to sustaining growth in aviation and tourism. However, the long-term implications of these investments, such as the environmental impact and the balance between development and sustainability, are essential factors that may be overlooked. Significance: as global awareness of environmental issues rises, companies that prioritize sustainable practices in their infrastructure investments will likely gain a competitive edge. Stakeholders must consider how to balance economic growth with environmental responsibility, as consumers are increasingly drawn to brands that demonstrate sustainability. 6. Competitive dynamics and market consolidation. While the report touches on competitive dynamics, the potential for market consolidation in both sectors may not receive adequate emphasis. With major players like Boeing, Airbus, and Expedia dominating the landscape, smaller companies may struggle to compete effectively. Significance: understanding the implications of market consolidation is crucial for new entrants and smaller firms. They may need to find niche markets or innovate in ways that larger companies cannot, such as offering highly personalized services or leveraging technology in unique ways. The competitive landscape will continue to evolve and players must adapt to maintain relevance. 7. The role of global events in market trajectories. The timeline of events provided in the report highlights the impacts of significant global events such as the COVID-19 pandemic. However, the potential for future global events to disrupt market trajectories is an important consideration that may not be emphasized enough. Significance: the ability to respond to unexpected global challenges, whether they be health crises, geopolitical tensions, or natural disasters, will be crucial for resilience and sustainability in these sectors. Companies that build flexibility and adaptability into their operational strategies will be better positioned to navigate future uncertainties. Conclusion: the anticipated 50% market penetration in aviation tourism and defense by 2028 is a multifaceted phenomenon that extends beyond mere growth metrics. The identified overlooked elements: technological advancements, regional dynamics, security concerns, evolving consumer preferences, infrastructure investments, competitive dynamics, and the influence of global events, are integral to understanding the full scope of the market's trajectory. Stakeholders must consider these aspects to effectively strategize and position themselves in an increasingly complex and competitive landscape. Ignoring these factors could result in significant missed opportunities and challenges in achieving sustained growth and market penetration. 1. Market growth projections and dynamics. The aviation, tourism, and defense markets are on a significant growth trajectory, with projections indicating a combined market penetration of 50% by 2028. The aviation market is expected to expand from $343.54 billion in 2025 to $395.76 billion by 2030, reflecting a CAGR of 2.87%. In contrast, the global travel market is poised for explosive growth, estimated to increase by $5.50 trillion from 2024 to 2028, showcasing an impressive CAGR of 18.52%. This disparity in growth rates highlights the varying recovery and expansion dynamics between aviation and tourism sectors post-COVID-19, driven by factors such as increased air travel demand in Asia-Pacific and the rise of experiential travel and tourism. 2. Technological integration and innovation. Both the aviation and tourism sectors are experiencing transformative changes due to technological advancements. In aviation, innovations in aircraft design, efficiency improvements, and the introduction of new routes are critical for market expansion. Companies are focusing on developing next-generation aircraft that promise better fuel efficiency and safety. In the tourism sector, AI technologies and digital platforms are reshaping consumer experiences, streamlining booking processes, and personalizing travel experiences. The integration of technology is a pivotal driver for growth, enhancing operational efficiencies and customer engagement across both industries. 3. Regional market dynamics. The Asia-Pacific region is positioned as a key growth driver for both aviation and tourism markets. Rising disposable incomes, urbanization, and a growing middle class in countries like India and China are fueling demand for air travel and tourism services. This region is not only expected to lead in commercial aviation growth but is also witnessing an increase in military spending reflective of geopolitical tensions. The emphasis on infrastructure investments such as new airports and improved connectivity further supports the anticipated market penetration and growth in Asia-Pacific, contrasting with the more mature markets in North America and Europe. 4. Competitive landscape and strategic shifts. The competitive dynamics within the aviation and tourism sectors are intensifying, with major players actively seeking to capture market share through innovation and strategic expansions. In aviation, companies like Boeing and Airbus dominate the commercial sector, while Lockheed Martin is focusing on military solutions, indicating a diversification in competitive strategies. In the tourism sector, firms such as Expedia and Marriott leverage technological advancements to enhance customer engagement. The competitive landscape is characterized by a mix of established corporations and emerging players, reflecting the evolving nature of consumer preferences and market demands. This competitive intensity underscores the importance of adaptability and innovation as key factors for success in both sectors. Here are 3 famous historical cases that illustrate significant impacts on markets akin to the anticipated 50% market penetration in aviation, tourism, and defense by 2028. 1. The rise of commercial aviation post-World War II. After World War II, the commercial aviation industry experienced a dramatic transformation. With advancements in technology and increased demand for air travel, airlines began to proliferate. The introduction of the Boeing 707 in 1958 marked a pivotal moment, as it was the first commercially successful jet airliner. This innovation ushered in the jet age, leading to a surge in passenger numbers and expanding international travel. The deregulation of the airline industry in the late 1970s further stimulated competition and lowered fares, allowing more people to fly. By the 1980s, commercial aviation had become a cornerstone of global transportation, shaping economies, tourism, and international business. The rapid growth and accessibility of air travel during this period serve as a historical parallel to the expected market penetration and innovation in the aviation sector by 2028. 2. The digital revolution in the tourism industry. The late 1990s and early 2000s marked a significant turning point for the tourism industry with the advent of the Internet. Online travel agencies OTAs like Expedia and Booking.com emerged, fundamentally changing how consumers planned and booked travel. This digital transformation allowed for greater accessibility to travel options, competitive pricing, and the ability for consumers to tailor their travel experiences. The introduction of platforms enabled real-time comparisons, user reviews, and personalized suggestions, which revolutionized the consumer experience in travel. The rapid growth of the online booking market parallels the digital transformation anticipated in the tourism sector leading up to 2028, where AI and new technologies are expected to further enhance customer engagement and operational efficiencies. 3. The defense industry during the Cold War. The Cold War era saw significant advancements and investments in the defense sector, driven by geopolitical tensions and the arms race between the United States and the Soviet Union. This period led to technological innovations in aircraft missile systems and military logistics. The establishment of defense contracts such as those with companies like Lockheed Martin and Boeing not only transformed military capabilities but also had profound impacts on the economies of nations involved. The competition for military superiority resulted in increased government spending and a push for innovation, fostering an environment where technological advancements could thrive. The dynamics of this period reflect the current competitive landscape in the defense industry, where nations are heavily investing in modernization and advanced technologies, paralleling the expected growth and competitive strategies anticipated by 2028. These historical cases exemplify how technological innovation, market demands, and geopolitical factors can drive significant changes in industry landscapes, similar to the anticipated shifts in aviation, tourism, and defense markets in the coming years. Future outlook: anticipated 50% market penetration in aviation, tourism, and defense by 2028. The aviation, tourism, and defense sectors are poised for transformative growth, with projected market penetration reaching 50% by 2028. This forecast is driven by evolving consumer preferences, rapid technological advancements, and substantial infrastructure investments, particularly in the Asia-Pacific region. Below, we delve into predictions for each sector and the competitive dynamics shaping their trajectories. Aviation market predictions. 1. Growth trajectory. The aviation market is expected to increase from $343.54 billion in 2025 to $395.76 billion by 2030, reflecting a CAGR of 2.87%. The recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic is anticipated to accelerate, with demand surging in Asia-Pacific, particularly in India and China, where air travel demand continues to rise. 2. Technological innovations. The integration of AI and advanced manufacturing techniques will dominate the sector, enhancing operational efficiencies and safety features. Innovations such as electric and hybrid aircraft will emerge, responding to environmental concerns and regulatory pressures. 3. Market players. Major players like Boeing, Airbus, and Lockheed Martin will intensify their competitive strategies through product diversification and partnerships. The focus on military aviation will also increase due to rising geopolitical tensions, prompting nations to invest more in defense capabilities. Tourism market predictions. 1. Explosive growth. The global travel market is projected to grow by $5.50 trillion from 2024 to 2028, with a staggering CAGR of 18.52%. This growth will be fueled by the rising popularity of experiential travel, particularly among younger demographics seeking immersive experiences. 2. AI-driven transformation. The adoption of AI in travel planning and personalization will reshape customer engagement. Online platforms will streamline booking processes, making it easier for travelers to find tailored experiences. The demand for seamless digital transactions will continue to rise, with mobile applications becoming the norm. 3. Challenges and resilience. While the market faces challenges such as global terrorism and economic instability, the resilience of the tourism sector is expected to prevail. Businesses will adapt by enhancing security measures and creating flexible booking policies to reassure travelers. Competitive dynamics. 1. Intensity of rivalry. Both aviation and tourism sectors will witness heightened competition as companies strive to capture market share. In aviation, the rivalry between Boeing and Airbus will persist, with each company seeking innovative solutions to retain customer loyalty. In tourism, platforms like Expedia and Marriott will leverage technology to enhance customer experiences and operational efficiencies. 2. Regional leaders. The Asia-Pacific region will emerge as a dominant player in both industries, driven by increasing disposable incomes and a burgeoning middle class. Governments will support growth through infrastructure investments such as new airports and tourism facilities. 3. Diversification strategies. Companies will diversify their portfolios to mitigate risks associated with economic downturns and geopolitical tensions. Airlines may explore cargo operations to supplement passenger revenues, while tourism firms could expand offerings to include adventure and ecotourism options. Conclusion. The anticipated 50% market penetration in aviation tourism and defense by 2028 signals a transformative era for these industries. The interplay between technological innovation, evolving consumer preferences, and competitive dynamics will significantly shape the future landscape. As companies adapt and innovate, the sectors are likely to experience robust growth, bolstered by strategic investments and a focus on customer-centric approaches. The Asia-Pacific region will play a pivotal role in this growth, setting the stage for a new era of connectivity and travel experiences.